Hey everybody, I'm Greg.
And I'm Katie. Welcome to the Meeple Society. Today we are continuing our countdown of our top 100, starting with number 30. But as always, before we get started, please consider liking the video, subscribing to the channel if you like this type of content, and of course hitting that bell icon if you want notification of future content.
And click the link below if you want to follow us on all of our social media.
Yeah. All right, let's get started.
Sure.
Number 30. All right, my number 30 is not a crossover, but we have touched on it briefly in the discussion of another trick-taking game that was a little outside of the box. This one is cooperative. This is The Crew, Mission Deep Sea, but it could honestly go for either one. We have finished the first one, Quest for Planet 9, but we're now playing Mission Deep Sea. Both of these were, well, when we first heard about The Crew, and it had a lot of hype.
Yes, it did.
And we both like trick-taking games, but we were like, how do you make a trick-taking game cooperative? It didn't make sense. But we picked it up. I found it on sale somewhere for like $10, and I picked it up, and we played through the entire series with our son and his wife, with Justin and Jackie, and really liked it. I mean, there would be nights we would sit there and play for hours trying to get through one mission because something kept failing. But the idea is you have, and the same with the new one, you have mission cards in the middle of the table that each player takes responsibility for one or more of them. That may just simply say, you have to end with the blue 5 in your hand, or the pink 1, or the ones need to be able to take the tricks. So you've got to work through as a team without a whole lot of communication on exactly how to make that work when you don't know what's in everybody's hand. You can give a couple of clues. Well, you can give a clue in the form of putting one card down with a token that tells everybody whether it's your only one, your highest one, or your lowest one. So they can tell if they need to throw off, or they cannot take that out of your hand because you have to have this card by the end of the game or the end of the round.
Yep.
It is just a really neat take on trick-taking. We enjoy trick-taking anyway. Euchre, gosh, you taught me euchre when I first moved here.
I grew up on euchre.
Yeah,
so.
you did. And I had never heard of it until I moved to Indiana. It's definitely a Midwest thing. But, yeah, anyway, that is Mission Deep, why can't I remember? Mission Deep Sea.
It's your 30th favorite game. I can't remember the title of it.
I cannot remember the tagline on it to save my life. But anyway, that is The Crew, Mission Deep Sea, my number 30.
My 30th game has just shot up the ranks in this one.
Okay.
I mean, I think it originally came on like 169 when I first
Wow.
started doing this. But it is a game we've already played through playing through our collection and everything.
Okay.
And each play of it, I've liked it. The first time we played it, I couldn't remember liking it because it had been so long. But the last two plays we played it, it's real good. This is Cosmic Encounters.
Oh, okay.
This is all about negotiation, which is a mechanic we're not big on. We'll play games with negotiation, but we're not huge on negotiation games. But this one it's a lot of negotiations and trust, basically. It's like, are you going to negotiate this guy to get to there and then trust that he's not going to backstab you at the last second and go against it? But you're basically just trying to take over other people's planets. Yeah. And each alien race, which there's like a bazillion different races, each one's going to have an in-game victory condition for you, that alien. The last couple of plays have been I've had a lot of fun and want to play it again. It's been in our collection for a little while now. We've got one expansion that I don't think we've even opened up and looked at.
Probably not.
But yeah, so it needs more plays number 30 is Cosmic Encounters.
All right, my number 29 is a deck builder. This one is based in the magical world. We had all the expansions. We've played through the whole thing. Matter of fact, our very first copy of it we bought, and Justin and Jackie borrowed it and wore all the cards out. So we had to buy a new copy.
Okay.
This is Harry Potter Hogwarts Battle.
Yep.
So, yeah, we bought our first one and liked it so much, and they are huge Harry Potter fans. So they borrowed it and wanted to try it out and literally wore the cards out.
Yes.
So we just gave them that copy and
bought
a
a new
handful of sleeves so they could sleeve the rest of them, and then bought ourselves a new copy of it. Yeah. We have actually played through all the expansions and everything, and I definitely like the first one. I like the original best. The second expansion was good. I didn't care for the third expansion.
The third one, yeah, I wasn't really a big fan of the third one.
We have since sold off the other two expansions, and we've only kept the base game, moved it into the travel collection, because we have played through it, and if I want to play it again, I only want to play the base game. I don't want to throw all that extra stuff in it. I love just the base game. But you are, just like any deck builder, you've got a series of cards on the side where you can purchase them using recruitment points or whatever they call them in this. I don't remember what they call them. But you purchase them using recruitment points, or you have damage points that you can do to anywhere from 1 to 3 of the bad guys that come out, and all of it is based on the movies. In fact, the game comes separated into boxes based on each movie. So box 1 has everything from the first movie, box 2, the second movie, etc. And it just introduces the characters as you go through that. It introduces the bad guys as you go through. So as you go through the series, the Voldemort gets harder and harder to beat, or some of the bad guys get harder and harder to beat. I have always liked this one. I mean, I've always been a fan of the Harry Potter series anyway, and this is just such a simple deck builder. In its simplicity, in its base form, it is a simple deck builder.
Yeah, I think we decided, though, it's better at 2-player than 4-player, because I don't think we really won it much at 4-player, but at 2-player, we have a better chance at winning it.
Yeah, you don't die as often.
No.
So we've introduced a lot of this to a lot of people. I've actually gotten a couple people hooked on this one. They went out and bought the whole thing. So, but yeah, that is Harry Potter Hogwarts Battle, my number 29.
My number 29 is a tableau builder.
Okay, we have a lot of those.
That we played at Dice Tower West.
That should narrow it down, but at the moment
that I didn't really like after my first play of it, but we picked it up, and we've played it quite a few times now at different player counts. And this is brand new to my list.
Well, I'd hope so if we only played it at Dice Tower West.
Yes.
Okay.
It was on a Hot Games table. Only tableau builder, I believe, that was on a Hot Games table.
Wayfarers?
This is Earth.
Earth.
Oh yeah, that was on there too. But no, this is Earth. Wayfarers have already been in my list.
That's what I thought. Okay.
Keep up.
I'm sorry.
But yeah, this kind of has a wingspan mechanic in it, because you're building a tableau on the side with the different cards that you're building from the different actions. It has the choose an action and everybody can follow with a lesser power, kind of like in another game that's probably on my list. Race for the Galaxy, where the person who chooses gets the more powerful action, the person below gets everybody else gets the lesser of the powers, and then everybody gets to activate in their tableau as to what color of the main action was, and you have to start at the top left and go down the rows as you go down, and so you've got to strategically place your cards out. So if this card needs that card to activate, you definitely don't want it like in front of it, or that you want it down. So you just got to keep an eye on what you're putting in there and where's the best spot at it. So when you do activate those color cards as you go down, they work out for you and you can get a lot of combos going, and it's basically an engine that you're trying to get going.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is really cool. I do like the tableau builders that make engines.
Yes.
And but yeah, this is a really good one. Like I said, it's brand new this year from Inside Up Games.
Yeah, this one will probably show up on my list later.
It'll show up in the top 10.
You don't know that.
Yes, I do. But anyway, so that is my 29 Earth.
Okay. All right, my 28 is the dice version of one of our favorite games. I think this has shown up on the original version, has shown up in one form or another on both of our lists already. This is the dice version. This is Pandemic: The Cure.
Oh, yeah.
So
You love this game.
I do. I don't know why, but I do. So, and I shouldn't have to explain why, right? No, this is, as with base Pandemic or any of the other versions of it, you are trying to cure some sort of a disease. There are 4 different colored dice in the game that represent the 4 diseases. You have little panels set out in a circle on the table that represent the 6 different regions, each one labeled 1 through 6. Your cure rate or your infection rate is indicated on a ring that is also houses dice that are, they're dice that are being recycled or something. Yeah, they're pulled off. Yeah. But that is all represented on a ring that tracks your infection rate, which is how many dice you're pulling out of the bag. It also tracks, oh my gosh, I can't remember what the other thing is it tracks now. I'm drawing a blank. But the idea is you're pulling out so many dice based on your infection rate out of the bag each round, at each turn, rolling those dice and putting them out onto the 6 different regions. Now, the dice are all specialty dice. They're not your standard 6-siders. So some of the dice may have multiple 3s and multiple 4s and a 5 and a 6 on them. They're all based on what regions you're going to find these diseases potentially spreading to. Just like base Pandemic, if you have more than 3 of one color on a region, it bleeds over to the next region. It starts to spread. Each of the players, and we have the expansion, so we have like 11 different professions or 11 different characters in here. Each one of them comes with a specialty set of dice, and they each specialize in either curing or traveling or whatever the case may be. Each of their dice does something different. To cure, you have to do research first, which is pulling people's dice out of the mix. So if I have a cure icon, but I know Greg is trying to cure blue and he's already got 2 blue dice set aside for it, I can use my cure icon to take one of the blue dice off of that region and give it to Greg. And then on his turn, he can roll all 3 of those blue dice now to try to hit the target number to cure blue. The downside on that is that
you lose that dice.
I lose that die until he cures it. Until he hits that target number, I can't do anything with that die. So it's just an interesting game. I really like this one. It plays 4-player, or plays 5-player. We've played it 6, and it played fine, because we had 2 other couples here at the time, and we introduced it to them. It's cooperative, of course, just like Pandemic.
Yep.
I don't know, I've always liked this one. It's just so simple and easy to get to the table.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like you have that anxiety as Pandemic gives you.
Yeah.
Like going, oh geez, we got to get this. Oh, that's breaking out over there and nobody's over there. We got to get over.
Moving is easier.
Yes, it's a lot easier in this one.
So yeah, because you're only moving from region to region, or if you roll an airplane, you can hop to anywhere on the board. So movement is much easier here, and you only have the 6 regions you're trying to control, not the 50 cities or whatever the case may be in regular Pandemic. So yeah,
it's kind of like any dice game that has a bigger tabletop board game of it. So.
Yeah, just simpler. So anyway, that's my number 28, Pandemic: The Cure.
My number 28, I had to double check and make sure I looked at the right one, is a game I just discussed on my last game, on my 29.
Oh.
This is Race for the Galaxy.
So it really will show up later in your list.
It really will show up. I already knew it was coming. But yes, this is Race for the Galaxy. You are basically racing to get 12 planets out.
Yep.
And there's a bunch of expansions to it. We have every one of the expansions for it, and we play with the different ones. But you're building planets by playing cards in your hand to basically you're going to get cards every round. Well, only if you research. Is it research?
I think it's research.
Where
it's
you're gonna
action
get
number 1.
Where you're going to get a draw cards. Because you're going to decide, okay, what action do I want to do this turn? You're going to pull that card and get ready, and then everybody flips, and then those are the actions that are going to happen. Right. You're going to get cards. You're going to be able to put out planets if that action's done.
Development
you can produce by putting cubes. No, in this one it's cards.
It's cards. You're laying extra cards
You're putting cards down to represent production. And you're taking that off the top of the deck, so it's cards that are not going to be seen anymore. And then there's where you can pull them all back to get the money for it or the points for it. It's a really cool game, but it's a tableau of 12 And as soon as you get there, game ends, and
Right.
the one with the most points wins. But yeah, we've had this one for a long time. We have played this a ton.
We have. We haven't played it in a while, but we have played a ton of it.
Yes, we probably need to go, if we get it back to the table and pull out some of the expansions, we're probably going to say, wait a minute, what's this icon? Because this has got a lot of icons in it.
That's the
that you
big
gotta
downside on
figure
this
out
one is the
what
iconography.
what the different things actually do and how to combo with them and everything. But it's full of combos.
Yeah, once you figure out the iconography, this is a super easy game, super fast.
Yep.
But figuring out that iconography is definitely a learning curve.
Yep. So that's number 28, A Race for the Galaxy.
All right, my number 27 is one of the larger, longer games we have. In fact, it probably is the second longest game we own. You look confused.
Well, I know we got a lot of long games.
We do have a lot of long games.
I'm like going, it can't be that game. That's that low in your list. But okay.
What's that?
Go.
My number 27? Yes. My number 27 is The Colonists.
It's that low on your list. Okay.
Well, and I think part of it is because it is so hard to get out. It is a very large game, not in general size, but just in scale, in scope of how much space it takes up. It takes up the whole table, but it's also long. You can't just, I mean, yes, you can sit down and play one era. This game plays in 4 separate eras. In each era, you're adding more things to the pot, basically.
Yep.
And one era takes about an hour and a half to 2 hours to play, depending on your player count. We have never played this more than 2, but every game we've ever played has ended up taking us almost 8 hours.
Yeah, because
by
we've played the
time
whole
you
thing,
play through
and we
the
have
entire
gaps
era.
in between.
Right. So, even with the gaps, it's still 8 hours, taking those times out. So, this one is a city builder, essentially. You are building out a central city for everybody to play off of, and is basically what amounts to your board. And throughout the game, you are moving your piece or pieces. At one point, you can grab a second one. And you are moving them around the board, trying to do actions, trying to build certain things onto your own player board, trying to get the resources to build those certain buildings onto your player board. You're upgrading your farms, you're upgrading your storage. There's just a lot going on. And I think I feel like if we played this more often, it would definitely be higher on my list. But because of how big it is hard to get out. And therefore, but still, 27.
Yeah, but it's real, like you said, it's long.
It's long. It is. But anyway, that is my number 27, The Colonists.
My number 27 was actually my number 1 game in 2021.
It fell that far in 2 years? 3 years. 3 years.
But I think
2
it's
years.
because we haven't played it in a while, and this is Teotihuacan, the City of the Gods. This one is it's a dice placement game that it's dice manipulation and so that you're placing dice in certain, it's a, what do you call that? A big rondelle. And you're placing dice in certain areas to get the different things in the area, to get resources to do other things in other areas. You've got tracks you're going up and receiving different things, but yeah. I just think I really like it because of all the dice that's in the game. And it is so interchangeable with all the expansions. It's really cool. I mean, I don't know what else to say about it other than, like I said, we have not played this in a while.
We have not gotten to play this.
Really liked
this is,
it.
I think, one of my favorites of the T games, for sure. I do really like this one. I don't think it hit my list at all, though, but probably, again, because we haven't played it.
Yeah, we haven't played it.
But I know at one point, man, we played this quite a few times, and I loved it. So.
Yeah, so that's number 27. Teotihuacan, did I pronounce that right?
As far as I know.
City of the Gods.
No idea. All right, my number 26 is not a new game. We've actually had it for quite some time, but it stayed in shrink until the retreat this past year. And we took it with us because we had to play through all of the L's, or we didn't have to, but we played through all the L's.
That's this high.
Yeah. And I was just completely enamored with this game. This is Legendary Forests. We picked this up at a store in Reno back when, again, this was one of our road trips where we didn't like going into a store and not supporting them in some fashion. So we always found something small to buy if we couldn't find something we really wanted. And this one, it was just a small game. It was in the standard 2-player size box, but it's 2 to 4, I believe, 2 to 5 maybe. So this one, it kind of has a little bit of a Karuba feel to it, where everybody has the exact same set of tiles, and at the beginning of the game, you're taking so many out, so you don't know which ones have been removed.
Right.
And then one person is basically playing lead, and they draw the tile off the top of their stack, say the number, and everybody has to find that tile out in front of them and put it into their board, put it into their forest. So everybody is building their forest out of these various flowers and leaf icons. By the time you get 3 or 4 tiles in, everybody's made a couple of different choices. Nobody has the exact same forest. Meanwhile, certain tiles will have the numbers are in a different color, and those indicate that starting with the first player, or starting with whoever has the tree, I don't remember how the turn order is determined, but everybody gets to take a wooden tree icon out of the center of the table, and you can place it onto one of your areas on your board, and that allows that area to score. If the area is complete, you get 2 points for that area. If the area is not complete, you get 1 point for that area. But the only areas
and that's
that
per
score,
tile that makes up the area.
Yes, it's per tile that make up the area. But the only way to score is to get these trees on your board. So if you can't place a tree, or well, you can always place a tree, whether the area is complete or not.
Right.
You want to pick your biggest, most advantageous areas, obviously. I don't know. I was just totally enamored with this game.
Which surprised me because you didn't really like Karuba that much.
I thought Karuba was okay. The Karuba was more about the path building and getting your people from one place to the other.
True.
And I found that tricky. I suspect with more plays of Karuba, I'll figure it out. This one was much easier. It had more of a Carcassonne feel. Match up your icons and just build your own little forest. And then you're scoring your forest based on when you're able to take those trees. Like I said, I just love it. The components are great. The little trees are adorable. Trees and bushes and flowers. My number 26, Legendary Forest.
My number 26 is a Marvel game, a Marvel card game, which doesn't narrow it down for you because we have a few of those too.
It does not.
This is Marvel Champions.
Okay. I knew it had to be one of a few.
This is. Some people say it's a deck builder, but it's not really a deck builder because the decks come kind of pre-built. But you can customize them when you start getting other decks because you can add different, minor stuff that actually adds to each other, though.
It's one of the pre-built. You got to pre-build your deck.
Right. So this is cool because each person has their superhero and then an alter ego, which is their identity, basically.
I.e. Peter Parker and Spider-Man.
Correct. Yeah. So as you are in superhero form, you have a certain power to be able, that you can actually do, but you're playing other cards, basically fighting the villain that you're looking to take out.
And the villain is going to come to look at.
And the villain always has henchmen because at times henchmen are going to attach you and they're going to start attacking you, and you could actually be knocked out. But if you can take them out, you can flip back over to your alter ego side and start healing.
Yes.
And then come back later.
Yeah, you can't heal in superhero form.
No.
And the villain can't attack you
if you're in alter ego form because they don't know that it's you.
You're right.
We came about this game because I'd heard about it, but our son had bought it and said, "Hey, Dad, can you guys take this game, learn it so you can teach us?"
This was another rabbit hole we didn't want to go down, so we didn't buy it.
But
Justin did.
Then we played it and I was like, we need this game.
Yeah, we ended up buying
and we bought it,
a lot of it.
We stopped buying pieces for it when the X-Men part came out. We haven't gotten into the X-Men.
I stopped at Spider-Pig. I decided that was it. I was done. I didn't need Spider-Pig, and then we just never bought another one after that.
No, because we haven't played it in a while.
We have not.
Because this one, I think, came out at 18. But it's dropped because we haven't played it as much lately.
It's on the shelf over there to play for the M's.
I know. Yeah, so this is Marvel Champions, the card game.
All right, my number 25 is a new game as well. I believe it was a 2023 release. In fact, I'm pretty sure it was. We got to play it on our 24-hour live. Matter of fact, we got to play it with Mike DeLisio on our 2024.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, on our live.
This high.
Yes. Oh, I love this game. This is Rolling Heights. Rolling Heights, the gimmick with this one is you are not rolling dice, you are rolling meeples. And you can choose 10 meeples out of your supply every turn to put them to work. And how you roll them into the box, how they land in the box determines what types of actions you can take that round. So you have to choose, you can build up as big a supply of workers as you want, but you can only put 10 of them to work each day. If they land standing up, then great, they are working hard and they're going to produce double for you. If they are on their side, then, well, they're working, they're there. And then if they're laying down, they called in sick. And you keep going until you have the option to keep going. But if on your second roll, if more than half of them are laying down or called in sick, then you bust and you don't do much of anything that round.
You get like half of
you get half of who did report to work or whatever. So, but this is basically a city builder. You have a board out in front of you and you are buying tiles with your supplies to put out onto the board. You're trying to line the pieces up on the board with other pieces for scoring purposes. Some pieces may say they want to be near other residential areas or more industrial areas, and you're trying to figure out exactly where to put them. Some of the spaces on the board require extra pieces of supply in order to go there. They're too close to the water or they're, whatever the case may be. So you have to pay the extra supplies even to get them down. But once they're down, now you start building on them. You're using those resources that your meeples are giving to you to build the buildings on the tiles. And those buildings just start to soar and start growing, and the board becomes a 3D model. It just looks so cool when you're playing it. Like I said, we got to play it on the 24-hour live with my sister-in-law joined in, Tony joined in, and then Mike DeLisio, which was a big surprise. A lot of fun. But yeah, that is, well, my only complaint with this one is it can stretch on.
Yes, it can.
Especially if you've got any players with AP. So, but I still love this one. I do enjoy it a lot. But yeah, that is my number 25, Rolling Heights.
Did not make my list.
I'm not surprised.
My number 25 is a game that I've only played once. And it's been a little bit since I've played this game.
No, not new.
This one's been around for a long time. I paid nothing for it. And it's a very long game.
Oh.
This is, make sure I'm looking at the right one. There it is. Twilight Imperium, 4th edition. This one is a 4X game, and it is, I'd always wanted to play it because we'd played Escape, and everybody says, oh, Escape's like Twilight Imperium.
Endeavor? No. Eclipse.
Eclipse, not Escape.
I was going to say, Escape is not anything like it.
Wrong game. It's like Eclipse is its little brother. In a way, it is.
It has a lot of the same
because
bones.
You're exploring and all that.
It has a lot of the same bones.
This is a lot more. There's a lot more to it because there's the politics of the game to put out new rules. I mean, there is a lot of fighting in this game, which we're not big fans of, but I just love how this game went together. Like I said, I've played it the one time.
Right.
And that one time has lasted me for a long time. It's going to have to come out when we play the tees.
Yep.
But I want to get in another big game of this and invite some people over to play another big game of this because those memories are starting to slide away. Because it's been such a long time, though. But this one came out, I only started putting it on the list in 2019, so my first one, and it was number 1 in 2019. So and I think that's right around the time we played it, because it sat on our shelf 2 or 3 years before we even opened it up.
Yeah, we got it in 2017.
Yeah, and then we finally got it played, and then it's again sat on our shelf. Now it's up there.
It's up there on top. Yep.
But yeah, it's another game. I really want to get this game back out. It has an expansion, but I have no need for the expansion right now because I've only played it once.
Right.
We haven't really been able to explore, but it's one of those. It's a table hog for sure. So we're not going to be able to play on this table. We'd have to play it on the dining room table. We're going to have to play it
on the big table, but the big problem is that it's 3+.
Yes.
You need more players than just us, so it requires setting up a time and setting up a specific game night, which we've done. It's totally possible. Yep. But yeah, it is definitely one of those we'll have to put a call out and say, hey, who wants to play?
Yep. So. But yeah, that is my 25 Twilight Imperium 4th edition.
All right, my number 24 is one, gosh, another new one that we just played this year. I feel like a lot of my last 20 are going to be that way. Anyway, we just played it this year. First time at the Dice Tower, at Dice Tower West, and we ended up buying a copy of it there.
At Dice Tower West?
At Dice Tower West.
Trying to think of all the games we played and what we bought at Dice Tower West.
This is Habitats.
Oh, yeah.
I really enjoy this one. It's so simple. You're driving a Jeep around a central board of animals out in the middle of the table, and everybody has a Jeep token on it, and you have 3 choices on your turn. You can go forward or you can go to either side, and those are the 3 tiles you can choose from to put into your park. And then as you move forward, the space behind you fills, you move into the space that you just took the tile from, and then the space behind you just left fills in for somebody else. So then this has kind of a Nova Luna feel to it in terms of connecting your colors. Every animal has a specific type of habitat, and it also has habitats it wants to be near. One of your animals on a desert habitat may want to be near other desert habitats, but it may also want to be next to the forests. So you have to line this tile up where you are connected to 2 more desert habitats, but you're also connected to 2 forests so that you can score this animal. And we bought the little animal meeples with it. It comes with little check marks, so once you've scored an animal, or you can score an animal, that animal's complete, you can put a check mark on it. We bought the Animeeples, which somebody described as a game in their own.
Because you're a sucker.
Because you got to try to find the right one, because there's only one of every animal. I'm not a sucker.
You just now responding to that, okay.
I was trying to ignore you. Anyway, so there's only one of each Animeeple that go with each of the tiles. I thought that was pretty cool. But yeah, I love this one. I love the puzzle of trying to figure out how to dual purpose some of the icons, some of the lands, so that it works for both the cobra and it works for the bear. So you can hook it into both and it'll work. I love this one. This is my number 24, Habitats.
Okay. I've only looked at this number 3 times now. Okay, so my number 24 is a new game to us.
Okay.
It was also a gift.
Okay, that does not narrow down.
Yeah, because a lot of our games have been gifts. But this is a game that had a lot of hype, but we didn't really think we needed it. But then we were gifted it, and we have played it once, and now we really, really like it, and we have finally got another game of this scheduled. This is Sleeping Gods.
Oh, okay.
This is as I guess you would call it, a sandbox game, because you can literally go anywhere on this map, and the map is on a book. So as you're going, if you're going all the way up this page, you get to the end where you're wanting to go, it'll tell you what page to turn to, and then continue that map. You're picking up different quests when you go to the islands, so you got to go to other islands to find what you need to take it back to another island, and then along the way you're picking up other quests that you're trying to finish off, all the while keeping away from the bad guys and everything. But this is one that Mark and Jess talked about a lot that they really liked, and now we've played it, and it was like going, okay, I understand the hype for this game. This is a lot of fun. Yeah,
we got into play with some very good friends of ours who they had Dark Tower, Return to Dark Tower, which we'd always wanted to try and did not back. So they brought that over, and we got both games in, and we got another one scheduled. Can't wait.
So yeah, my 24 is Sleeping Gods.
All right, my number 23 is one we've had for a while. I think it has only gotten up this high on the list because we just finished playing through a campaign game of it and really enjoyed it. This is a deck builder. Well, it's billed as a deck builder. I don't think it's a deck builder.
Oh, okay.
This is Lost Ruins of Arnak. We've had this one for a while. We picked up the first expansion a while back, and that kind of re-sparked my interest in it. I've always enjoyed the game anyway. I love the exploration part of it, the fact you only get 2 explorers, but yet there's so much you can do that don't involve the explorers. It's just a matter of how you're going to go about getting those resources so that you can do more. When we got the first expansion that had all the special abilities on the explorers, that kind of reinvigorated everything for me, and we played through it quite a bit then. That science track, or that exploration track, the research track, was always kind of a thorn, because you have to go up it, but
to even have a shot
at winning, you had to do that. Well, we just got the second expansion, which we did not plan on getting. That was the Missing Expedition. And we looked into it at Gen Con, didn't even know it was there, picked up one of the last copies. And we just finished playing through it about a month ago, 2 months ago, whatever it's been. And oh my gosh, I loved it. It takes the game and makes it cooperative, where you are fighting a central bad guy. And the storyline behind it is so neat. It's still that Indiana Jones 1930s feel to everything, and the way everything plays out, or 1940s feel. But now, instead of racing each other up the track, we're trying to help each other get up that track. And we're trying to choreograph our moves to get the right resources, and yet keep the bad guy at bay, to keep him from meeting his goals. I love this new expansion. So if you've ever been on the fence on this one, the new expansion absolutely changed everything for me. I absolutely love it. I can't imagine playing this without one of those again. So without doing one. And the nice thing is you add all the pieces in. So all those new pieces are in the game now.
Yes.
Which made it tricky, because I had an insert that was not built for this expansion. So I had to modify my insert a little bit, but it worked. I got it all in there. But you can just choose out of the book one of these to play, and do that one all over again. So that's probably how we'll play it from now on, I imagine. But yeah, anyway, that is my number 23, The Lost Ruins of Arnak, with the Missing Expedition.
Okay, my number 23 is a train game.
That does not narrow it down. We have a few.
We don't have that many train games. Not as many
We
train
have a
games
whole
as I would like.
2 cubes of Ticket to Ride down there.
It's just Ticket to Ride. That's not really, well, it is a train game, but
anyway.
I don't consider it. This is a crayon rail.
Okay, that narrows it down. We only have 2. And I can guarantee you I know which one it is.
This is Iron Dragon.
Yeah, I figured.
We have Empire Express.
That was the first one we ever got.
And really like it, but Iron Dragon just kind of multiplied that one, because the board is so big, and there's a lower level of it, to where you can go into certain places and go down, but then when you're down there trying to run your rails and drop off things, you're also having to pay the ogre. Is it down there?
Ogre and
or
orc
the troll or something.
The
Something's
troll.
down there you're going to have to pay unless you have a certain thing.
I don't remember what it is. I don't know. I never get down there. So.
We've played this a couple times, and I've just really enjoyed the crayon rail games, period, and just really enjoyed this one. This is so cool, because the trains, the artwork on the trains themselves is really cool. I mean, it's an older game. I mean, this is like from 2015, 2016, somewhere around there.
We found it at Goodwill for $5 unpunched. So.
But the artwork on the engines that you upgrade to and everything are just really cool, because they're like the dragon realm type of looking thing.
Yeah,
so
it's a neat game.
It's really cool, and it's a pickup and delivery game. And for some reason, I just started getting into a lot of pickup and delivery games.
That seems to be one of your favorite mechanisms right now. I went push your luck. You went pick up and delivery.
Yep.
So.
But yeah, this is Iron Dragon. If you get a chance, check it out. It can be a long game.
It can be a long game. Yes.
All the crayon rails, because you've got to build your routes with the money you have, and if you don't have the money, you can't build the route. But you can use somebody else's rail, but you got to pay them. But yeah,
still gotta have money.
I really like these types of games, and Iron Dragon is the top one of the crayon rails that I've played.
All right.
Which means only 2 of them, though. But I'd like to try some other ones. But that's Iron Dragon number 23.
All right, my number 22 is a Lacerda game. It is not the first one on my list, but I think it's the highest.
You had Escape first.
Yeah,
right?
that's what I thought.
And
I think I've already had Escape on there.
On Mars.
This is on Mars, yes.
It's like I know you.
I don't know how. Anyway, On Mars is a very big, grand space exploration game. Or not even space exploration. It's more of a
city building almost, because you're
pretty
building
much,
a space station.
Yeah, you are exploring Mars, you're colonizing Mars, and trying to build a space station out there, or a station on Mars, by building various pods. But in order to get those, you have to go up to the ship in orbit in order to get the resources you need, and then come back down. And the shuttle only goes every so often, so you have to time your movements just right, that you can hit that shuttle right when you need it.
Yep.
Because as the game progresses, at the beginning of the game, it's going like every other turn, so it's no big deal. But as the game progresses, it takes longer and longer for that shuttle to come back. So you're spending more time in one place or the other. So you are trying to balance those movements, and it's a lot, because you can either build and explore down on the planet, or you can be up top doing your research and gaining all your resources that you need from that research. Just a really neat game. We have the expansion. We backed that on Kickstarter after we got the game. Haven't played it yet. The O's are coming though, so soon. I can't wait.
And they're after the ends.
Yes.
Before the P's.
That is how it works. Anyway, my number 22, On Mars.
All right, my number 22 is a racing game where you guys shift gears.
Okay.
Decide what gear you're shifting into every turn.
We have 2 of those.
What game do you think it is?
I'm going to guess it's Heat, but I thought you already talked about Heat.
I've already talked about Heat. This
So
is
it's
Formula
gotta
D.
be
Have I
Formula
talked about
D.
Heat already?
I thought.
I think that was in my 2023.
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, that was in my 2023.
So it's Formula D.
This is Formula D. This one is one that we almost bought this years ago when it was first come out, because I was like, ooh, that looks pretty cool.
You almost bought it.
I almost bought it. Anyway, we finally got it. We played it with Doug and Mary.
Yeah. Well, we played their copy.
No, we played their copy first, and then I loved it, and so we had to go out and buy it.
And I had fun. So
we found a used copy of it, which was in great condition. So we have it. But this is a racing game where there's multiple different boards you can play, but you are driving a race car, and you have to shift gears to determine what dice you're going to roll. And each dice, just because you're rolling a 10-sided doesn't mean it goes from 1 to 10. It starts at like 8 or 9, and then it goes on up.
I don't remember the exact
But that's going to
breakdowns.
determine your speed as you're going down, the spaces you're going to move. But like Heat, there's certain penalties in corners if you're above a certain number, to where you can wipe out and take damage to your car. Heat, you don't really take damage. Well, you do. You take heat.
You get the cards in your deck, yeah.
But so you're racing around 2 laps, basically. Same like Heat, though. But I think I like the dice rolling in here. And I like the shifters. The shifters are a lot better.
The shifters are really cool.
Yeah, because it's actually like you're
shifting gears,
one up and over, then seconds is to the right, and then third you got to come down. I really like that. It doesn't have a reverse for some reason. I don't know why the game doesn't have a reverse. But yeah, but there is a place where you can take a pit stop if you need to do your tires. The more advanced game is you're taking damage on the car itself, the different spots on the car, and if something happens, you're going to have to take a pit stop or you're out. The other one is you take penalties if you're shifting up too high or shifting down low real fast to get to lower dice, though, and that's just wear and tear that you're going down. And if you lose all that, you're out of the game. Your car's done for.
Yeah, it's really easy to get kicked out of the game on this one if you play a little loose and fast.
But I feel this one's a little more thematic than Heat.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I don't do racing anything, so I do like both games though. Heat, I feel like you have more control. This is much more.
Maybe. Heat isn't dice, but
no, Heat is not dice.
But yes, this is number 22, Formula D.
All right, my number 21 is a crossover. This was your number 63. This is one that it's in space. You are trying to build your space station.
It's Foundations of Rome.
It is, yes. Yeah, no, this is Space Station Phoenix. The neat gimmick with this one is you start with a ready-made I want to say it's 8 ships. I could be wrong. You start with a fleet of ships, and throughout the game, you are literally deconstructing these ships and tearing them apart for the metal. You are gaining resources with rolls of the dice. Metal is really hard to come by, though, and is one of the main resources in the game. The best form of metal you have is to deconstruct the ships in your fleet and attach that metal to your space station. The space station is built in rings. You have 3 sets of rings that go out, and each ring progressively gets more expensive but does different things for you. Just a really neat game. Like I said, it's one of the only ones we have that you are literally deconstructing something to build something else. And I don't know. I really enjoy this one, but that is Space Station Phoenix, my number 21.
I'm surprised it was up this high for you.
I was too when I first looked at it. I'm like, really?
Okay.
But yeah.
My number 21 is a 2-player game, and it's probably the biggest 2-player game that we have.
Okay, there's no way that one made it that high up your list. 2-player game.
Really? What game are you thinking?
Well, the biggest 2-player game we have is, what is that one? Fields of Arle.
No.
I was going to say, there's no way that
that's not
made it
even
that
on the
high up
list.
your list.
This is Stronghold.
Oh, I forgot about Stronghold.
Yes. This is a castle defense game where one person is playing everybody in the castle and trying to keep the castle up by getting people to the wall, and the other player is playing as the ogres and the goblins and trolls or whatever else, trying to attack the castle to breach the wall to get in to win the game. It plays in a series of rounds where each person has a chance to build armies up, get them to wherever they need to get them to, and then attack. You have, like I said, if you're in the castle, you're defending, you've got archers up there, you can shoot down at the trolls or ogres or orcs or whatever they are. If they're in unprotected areas, you can put out traps on roads to where, okay, no, you can't bring your goblins up this road anymore. You can block them, but their orcs can come up. The monsters down there can build panels up when they get into certain areas, so the archers can't shoot over and get to them and everything. But it is really cool. It's a lot of back and forth. Where you're trying to keep your walls fortified if you're in the castle, and they're trying to knock them down and seeing if they can breach the walls. So I think we're kind of split on this game as into how many wins we have. So I think we keep going back and forth with that, because every time we play it, we play the other side that we didn't play it before. So, but I really, really like this one. I'd heard about this so much, then we finally found a used copy that played it, and I really enjoyed it. We just haven't gotten to the table in a while. But yeah, so this is Stronghold. I think this is actually first edition we have too.
It is, yes.
Yeah, Stronghold is my number 21.
All right. Well, that is it for this video. That is all of our 20s.
All of our 30s. Yeah, all of our 20s. Yep. We'll start the next one with 20.
All right. So 22 more videos to go.
Yep. And we'll be done with that.
Yeah.
So until then, we'll see you at the next one.